Right. Hello and welcome to the new normal. We're so glad to have you back with us. Last time we finished a session uh, talking about connecting, and the idea was to build bridges, not fences, to connect with people, to build bridges. And now
And I wasn't with you.
no, you weren't. So,
No.
so we built a bridge in that time, and
We connected.
yes. So we are now connected again.
I came from the dark side.
This is Diane, of course, my bride of 27 years. I married her when she was a child, and no, that's
Yeah,
not.
cute.
Yes.
Anyway.
Okay. And of course, Mike Pinball Clemons, and we want to welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to talk a little bit about relationships today, huh?
I got dressed up for this.
Oh, but
I put
yes.
on makeup.
Wow. Wow.
Lashes.
Yes.
Highlight.
I put on gray.
Right?
Yes.
I haven't put on
good.
clothes in so long, I had to
Yes.
do something. I needed a reason.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me a reason, everybody.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So we talked about connecting last time, and one of the what things we do to kind of make sure that we stay connected. As an example, because in here the I think when we sent the marketing package out, it said marriage advice. No. This is relationship and marriage discussion.
There you
right?
go.
Because
There you go.
you don't advise.
No advice.
No advice. No
We're
advice.
still trying to get it right.
Because it doesn't, everything doesn't, the same thing doesn't work for everybody,
No,
right? So
not at all.
it really is discussion, right?
It is.
Sort of learning and gathering,
That's right.
because I should know little things about you.
You should.
Like you like ice cream. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
yes. Love ice cream, I should say. And so all of these, little things that we get to know about our mates, sometime we take for granted.
Yeah.
Because as time goes on, like when you're first dating, right? You know all the little things, right? And all the and then as time goes on, right? It seems that we are not as particular. Would that be accurate?
That would be accurate.
Okay, all right. So one of the things that we did as a safeguard from the very beginning. So it's our first anniversary, and we go out to dinner, and that's become a tradition of ours. So we go out to dinner every year, and we rate our marriage from 1 to 10. You're like, are you kidding?
Ooh.
You rate your marriage? We do, because part of it is just being honest with where you are, being honest with who you are. And so we rate our marriage from 1 to 10. And part of the reason we do it on our anniversary is because you don't want to be mad on your anniversary, right? You forgive each other much easier, much more readily. You want to move through. Now, advisement, if I could advise, this is not good for everybody. Everybody doesn't handle arguments and discussions in the same way.
Arguments.
Discussions.
There you go.
Discussions in the same way. Yeah. So everybody doesn't discuss things the same way. So if this doesn't work for you, maybe you should choose a different day than your anniversary. But for us, it does work. And we ask all kinds of questions. We ask what's good, what's not so good. What would you like to see more of? What you like to see less of, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about the kids and their growth and where they're going? And so there's a whole series of questions that we go through, and you'll have your own list. And it's a good way for us on a yearly basis to kind of have that check-in. Now, that doesn't mean that's the only time of year that we do it, right? But that is that time every year that we know it's going to happen.
That's right.
Sometimes you feel that, there's a time where you need to have a family meeting. Right, we had a family meeting earlier this week, right? Yes, and so we need those things. We need those constant check-ins, that ability to communicate, right, and to make sure that we're intentional about communicating. We wouldn't go to a job or on our job, we wouldn't expect that we'd never have meetings, right? Or we never have points where we check in to see our progress, where you have a quarterly report or a yearly report, biannual reports, however those things go, right? We would always have those places to check in. So part of communicating is just being intentional about it, making sure that you schedule time to discuss how things are going, right? What's good, even if you feel things are great, still talk. Why? Because they may not be as great for her as they are for you. So make sure that you still take those important times. And these discussions also can go with other relationships in our life. They're no different than other relationships that we have, being able to just communicate on those things. And we talk about communication as being that foundation of relationships, right? Mm-hmm.
You see how I'm staring at you?
Why are you staring at me?
Because I like your new look.
Ah!
See, I'm communicating.
Yes, you
right?
are. Yes, you
I'm
are.
communicating.
Yes.
But I like your new look.
All
you
right.
see, everybody, he's trying to grow this.
Yes.
He's
I
doing
can't. Yeah. So yeah.
We're inside. Why not try something new? So anyway, I like your new look.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. You have to be married for more than 20 years to really understand this. So.
But anyway, you're talking about communication.
Yes.
And just as we're talking about that, you make me think about different ways of communicating. Because in order to communicate, and in order to communicate properly,
effectively,
you have to understand your spouse's or your significant other's love language.
¿Cómo está usted?
Bien, gracias.
Bien. See, if you don't speak Spanish, you can't answer that question. Just like love languages, right? If you don't speak the right love language, your partner cannot understand.
That's right. But you have to understand your partner's love language. Mm-hmm. And there are 5 love languages. And I'm sure a lot of you know these love languages. And if not, take out your pen and paper, because these are important. You have to be able to understand my love language. So what is my love language?
Your love language is, well, you enjoy it all.
Kind of.
Yes.
They're 5.
So yeah,
Give me a few.
yeah. So you like words. You like public displays, right? You like gifts, right? You like them all. You love to be loved. Okay.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, there are 5 languages.
They are, yes. So.
And one is words of affirmation.
That's right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I appreciate words of affirmation. Acts of service.
Yes.
Acts of service.
That's a big one. That's a big
receiving
one.
gifts.
That's
don't like receiving
huge.
Gifts,
Yes.
Quality time.
That's a real important one for you.
Right.
Yes.
And physical touch.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to understand your partner's love language in order to communicate, and in order to communicate effectively.
Right. So, you know, a lot of times, we find people that, people come to us not because we're any good at this, but just because we've made enough mistakes to know better. So they come and they ask, says, well, we're doing this and we're doing this, and so he is doing all of these wonderful things for her, and she's doing all of these wonderful things for him, and in it itself, it seems like this should be fine, right? But he's not doing what she's asking for.
That's right.
Or what she yearns. She's not doing what he desires, right? And so between those, right, there's that confusion. Now I have a little trouble with saying the need. So it when you have I think
when
that desire
needed,
you have that desire to satisfy each other, right? To make sure that you are giving them what they want, right? And they ultimately need, I guess is the word. And you want to really feel good that you're not just trying to love and serve your partner, but you're doing it in the way that they desire it most. You're wanting the best for them.
You're so smart.
We're smart enough to read somebody else's invention.
But you know what? I just said that because
Yes.
you know how important it is to say nice things to your spouse or your significant other.
Yes.
Every day, we should try to say at least one nice thing to our partner.
Before noon?
One night, doesn't matter what time
Just-
of day it is, just one nice thing
Uh-huh.
a day,
Yes.
just to lift that person up.
Okay.
You don't understand how important that is and the shift that will make in a person's day, because it can make a tremendous shift, and that shift could be for your good,
Right.
right? It could be for your good.
Membership has its privileges.
There you go.
Yes.
You follow me?
I follow you. I got you.
You're following me, right?
You know, we can't communicate with them. Like, we can't see their feedback. So
Right.
we don't know exactly how they feel about this. But yes, when you make sure that you do something that lifts them, they then have the desire to do more for you.
That's right. That's right.
Mm.
So that's very important to be able to do that and to just lift you. Because I know when you first started speaking, for instance,
Yes.
years ago, and I would, go with you to your speaking engagements.
Uh-huh.
And I remember you would come off the stage and you'd sit beside me. And first thing you would say, you look at me like with those little puppy dog eyes, how'd I do? And I was a harsh critic. I know I was. I was hard. I was hard, right? But it's only because I wanted you to perfect it, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, it was okay, but you needed to maybe say this, or you needed to maybe trim this down, or do this. And, you just kind of look at me like it was like I stuck a pin in you and deflated you, right? And it took me a minute to understand what I was doing. But then when I caught on, and when you would come off that stage and say, you wouldn't even have to ask, oh, wait, that was awesome. Oh, that was so good. I love that story. I love this. And you'd be like, head go up, shoulders go back. And it makes a difference when you lift your partner up and make them feel good about what they're doing.
But we're really not supposed to lie to them, though, right?
It wasn't lying. It was true.
Yeah, it was the truth. So,
It was the truth.
okay,
I wasn't
good.
lying.
But
because
yes.
I tell you the truth.
Yes. So, but we do need to, to be able to humbly embrace criticism, right? As well. And when we think of a critique, it's just an evaluation. It's looking and being honest with where you are, so that we can get better and we can grow. Those kind of things can be difficult in relationships, right?
That's right.
And that's why it's important to really plan out these opportunities, right? To take these opportunities to say, hey, listen, this is going to be a session about, right, talking about stuff that we can do better, right? So that it doesn't seem offensive. Like on a daily basis, right before someone's walking out of the door, you say something you hate, right? It leaves that. Let's wait till we have a forum to present that and present it fairly, where there's time to talk about it and go back and forth. And the more selfless we are, the more we can take that kind of comment, right? Even, walking out of the door, right? And we can kind of absorb it and try to find the lesson or the message in it. But done with any level of regularity, it can be more painful than helpful.
Right. I heard this quote. It said, choose the thoughts you make space for.
Okay.
Right. And I thought that was really good, especially in a marriage, right?
Yes.
Choose the thoughts that you make space for. Right. So before you speak, think about it. Right. Think about what you're going to say. Choose the thoughts that you make space for in your head. Right.
So don't let that negativity take up too much of your headspace.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And what I also found is it's good to focus on the good stuff when you're going through a hard time, when your marriage is going through some things, and you're not getting along the way you want to get along. Instead of focusing on all the negativity, all the things that's getting on your nerve from your spouse, because I'm telling you, sometimes I don't like you.
Yes. Thank you.
Right? Yes. Sometimes I don't like you. I don't like you, but I love you always. Right? But sometimes you get under my skin.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And during those times, it's important for me to focus on the good times, all the good stuff, all the good things that I love about you. Because if I sit down and I make a list of all the things that get under my skin and all the things that I love about you, the list of things that I love about you far outweigh the list of the negative things. Right? So it's important to focus on the good stuff. Even when you're going through hard times, always focus on the good stuff, because that's what's going to bring you, that's what's going to keep you grounded, keep you, connected,
Right.
keep you committed.
Right. That's very good. Very interesting. Love, in essence, really says you before me. Right. Love is that capacity to put someone else before yourself.
That's right.
That's truly what love is. And so when we talk about love in that construct, right, it means, that, well, the question, like, guys, when you get a new car, who gets the new car? So and when there's the last piece of pie, right? Who gets the piece of pie, right? It's those little things, and believe me, deferring on the pie helps my waistline as well as our relationship, right? So it is thinking about, like, how can I put my partner first, and doing that on a consistent basis, right? It's much easier to be faithful when you're always thinking about your partner first. It's much easier to absorb negativity or different challenges that may be coming, right? When you're thinking about them first. When we start to get egocentric and we're worrying about ourselves first, that's when we can really blow up. But when we're thinking about our significant other first, it's hard to do some of those things that really agitate a relationship.
Yeah, you should love your partner for everything they are and everything they're not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Love them for everything they are and everything they are not.
You're not
and
just a pretty face.
That not part
Yes.
is the most important part.
Right. Everything they are and everything they are not.
That's it.
I love that. In that, right? When we talk about there are not, things happen in a relationship, and oftentimes it's really hard for us to forgive. Right. And so forgiveness is one of those really tough things, and but it's also a really important thing, right? By a show of hands out there, right? How many people have made a mistake before? Yeah. Pretty unanimous. Yes, both hands, a foot in there. Yeah. So we all make mistakes, right? And so it's so important to understand that love, forgiveness are inherently a huge part of a successful relationship. And when you forgive, right, it doesn't mean you forgive until they make you mad. Right. Forgiveness is just that. It means that, I have, and I think one of the things is to kind of understand that forgiveness is actually more an action than a feeling.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Forgiveness is more of an action than a feeling, right? So when we say we forgive, right, but it's the first thing that comes up when it is an argument, right? Because we feel a certain way, right? Our action should say that I am going to choose not to say that. Right. Because it is not healthy for our marriage. Even if I remember it a little bit, right? I'm going to choose not to say it. It's amazing how when you take that approach and you talk about finding the best in your significant other, in general in life, find the best in people. When you look for the best in people, you will find the best. That's right. When you look for the worst, you'll find the worst. You will get what you're looking for. And so as we talk about forgiveness in this context, one of my favorite little captions, little sayings is from when we're married and you do your vows, right? It says love keeps no record of wrongs. Yeah. So it's not this big list that if you have that kind of list, I understand, but that's not love, because love doesn't keep a record of the wrong things. Love looks beyond it. The reason love can be perfect, because when you look at all those things you do, right? Love covers all of those things. That's why love can be perfect,
Yeah,
right?
the Bible says love covers a multitude of sins.
That's right. That's right. So love covers all of that stuff. So when I think about my bride, when she does something that I don't like, right? Even the thing that
that never happens.
Not since '96 or something, right? But even when that happens, right, I can see her just like I did on our wedding day, right? When we say love is unconditional, there's no condition by which I lose my love. Now, love means that I put her first, right? Love is not that feeling thing that we think about, right? Because it doesn't always feel good, even when we're going through it. But when we do the right thing, right, the real feelings come after. When the feelings come before, we make bad decisions. Right. We're supposed to make the right decision, and then the feelings come after, and those good feelings will come after those decisions. Sometimes it doesn't always happen in the process. It even feels a little awkward in the process sometimes. But as we move along, wow. Yeah. That feeling does come after, but the actions come first.
And it's important to remember that you're talking about forgiveness. There is no but in forgiveness.
Okay, I like that.
Right? Because a lot of times when we apologize, there's always that but, right? You didn't have to bring something up, like you were talking about. Yes. There is no but in forgiveness. Yeah. And our job is to love him or her like you have one day left.
Yes.
Right? So my job is to love you like we only have one day left. And plan like we have a lifetime.
Right. Very, very good. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good.
Very important.
Yes. Well, we're hoping that there's some questions for you. We're just talking, we're rambling on, because this is what we do. This is what happens when you're married for 27 years.
This is what happens when you're in your sweet spot.
Oh, yes, I am. Every time I'm close to you, in my sweet spot. When I say sweet, would you say spot? Sweet spot. Yes. So I hope you're having a good time and joining us here. Just a little bit of the new normal, and kind of referring to things that are happening now. We're spending a lot more time together, most of us, than we have. For those who are not, we want to say a very special thank you to our frontline workers out and still giving their all on a daily basis. And so we really want to salute you. This is how we do online. This is how we do it. Online workers, we're so grateful for you. And but many of us are finding that we have a whole lot more time with family than we are used to. And in some cases, that's wonderful. In other situations, it's developing. So some are really good. Others are developing. We won't say the other way, right? So I really want to just kind of open it up and have some questions. I think Jen is going to help moderate for us.
I think so too. And I'm seeing some, hey, Rena and Chad.
Hey!
And you know what? Inez Jones.
Florida. Wow. Nesty. Yes. All right. That's some of our great friends from Florida.
That is awesome.
That's awesome. I call it ST.
But yeah, we're going to open it up for questions or comments.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions for us? We're going to maybe ask Jen to chime in as well. All right. And just while this is a little commercial break.
Yes.
For those of you who do want, to talk about marriage and have some more information on marriage, we do have a show on Yes TV that airs every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. with Ron and Ann Maines, a great couple that have been doing marriage seminars for a long time. And it's every Thursday night 8:30 p.m. on Yes TV, and it's called A Better Us, because when
Better
you
us.
have communication, you can have a better you,
Yeah.
better marriage, and
Yes.
we have a better us for that,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So there
that's
you
right.
go.
That's right.
There you
Awesome,
go.
awesome. Good, good. Jen, do you have some questions for us?
I do. One of the questions I have here, I got a couple private messages. One is, what would you say is your biggest challenge during this time where you guys have felt like get together as a couple? What's your biggest challenge that you guys have had to face, and how did you overcome it?
Sweet. Yeah.
You
All
go.
right.
I'm typing. I'll go
Okay.
after.
Good, good, good. So, the biggest challenge I think we had to overcome initially is honestly we have some challenges of not knowing what the virus was, and so there was some real anxiety about literally being around each other a little because we have some respiratory issues that are in the house. We have a little bit of anxiety that's in the house, and so we were trying to figure out how to just coexist around each other because we're touchy feely family, and so we're used to hugging and doing all of those things, and so we really weren't sure what to do, how to do it, and so that took some time, and occasionally there's still a little bit of awkwardness, but for the most part, we kind of honor each other's space and have figured that part out.
Well said. I have
Okay.
nothing else to say. Well said. Hey, Nana. Nana's on. Your mom's on.
All right, Mom! Okay, I better watch what I say.
Kathleen Reed, good to hear from you. Thanks for chiming in. Hey, Nicole Waldron, the good stuff, girlfriend.
Yes.
I have another question here.
Yes.
So in addition to the 5 love languages, what do you think the best way is to keep the love alive in a marriage? For those that may be struggling with that right now, what would your advice be to them?
Keeping love alive begins with interest. It begins with being interested in your partner. And when you're interested in your partner and your partner interested in you, that's how you get to stuff like the 5 love languages, because you're working at it and you're trying to. The 5 love languages themselves, right, are just words on a piece of paper. It is really you having that interest in wanting to make your relationship better, finding ways to engage. There's just some wonderful, wonderful opportunities that we have to do that on a daily basis, especially today. One of the things is actually sitting down and writing a real letter. We don't do that anymore. But you know what, guys? They'll take a text too. Yeah. That's fine, right? They really will. An email, even better, right? So finding those ways to take interest in your partner is really how I believe the fundamental piece in keeping that relationship alive. When we take an interest in them, we want to know what they're doing. We want to hear about their day. We don't just come and sit down and say, I'm tired, right? When we take an interest, we want to know about their day. We want to please them. We want to do special things. We want to take them to dinner and find about dates. We want to see how we help their day go along, and we schedule, we do make times to get away, right? When we're interested in people and how they feel and what's going on with it, a lot of times what we do is we generally know that person, and so we take for granted how they feel and what's going on with them, and we have that same thing in our mind, and then all we see is the list of stuff that's to do every day. When we take our eyes away from the list and we put our eyes on our partner and have an interest in them and focus on them, spending time with them, being creative. I mean, there's so many little things that we can do that says, I love you, that you're important, that I'm interested in you. That's really what they want to know. They want to know that we are interested, that we love them, that we have taken out some time in our day to craft a little message, to do all of those series of little things, and every once in a while, a big thing.
That's it. And you said something interesting today before we went online. I think we were talking about something earlier today, and you said something about what you see is what you get, right? With your partner. So if you see the best in that person, you're going to get the best.
That's right.
If you see the worst in someone, you're going to get the worst.
That's
So see the best in that.
yes.
In your significant
That's right.
other, right?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, Aunt Kathy, I see you. Oh, Aunt Kathy.
Yes, how about that? Yes, yes. All right.
Hey,
Palmetto is in the house. Palmetto is in the house. Tell Pastor Watkins hello.
Paul Bolton, hey to you too. Sorry, Jen, you have another question for us?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions actually. So one is, there are a lot of people in the city that are separated from each other because maybe they're not married, but they're in love. And how do you love when your partner is not in the same location? Because many are separated right now due to COVID-19. That was from Nicole Walton.
All right. Okay.
What's your advice?
Well, our daughter has a boyfriend of 3 years. And
3 years, honey.
How many years?
5.
5 years already?
Yeah.
Wow. So
it's Dad.
So 5 years. Dads don't count the years, but really sweet and really wonderful. But we're self-quarantined. So Diane is very strict about this. So she doesn't allow visitors. And so they normally see each other pretty well every day. And they've seen each other 3 times in what is almost 6 weeks now. They saw each other before the quarantine, and then on her birthday 2 weeks later, or 15 days later, then about 2 weeks later, and I think I just allowed a visit just recently. So I guess what we're saying here is the time is critical and it's important, and it's going to ask us to do things that we're not comfortable with, that we'd rather not do. But the important part of this is that there are people who are in more danger than most of us when it comes to the spread of this disease. And so when we social distance, when we do the little things, they really become big things, because it's someone's grandmother, right? It's someone's grandfather. It is someone's great uncle. Those are the people who are most affected by this. But also we have wonderful frontline workers and those who are delivering care, nurses, doctors, and others in that industry, who not only are on the front lines and have the stress, but who have actually died from this terrible pandemic. So one is that realization that I'm doing the right thing, that this is bigger than me. There are certain times in our lives where there are situations that are bigger than us, and we have to acknowledge that. And so one is acknowledging that and acknowledging it's okay not to like it, right? Mm-hmm. But this is what needs to happen. And then further to that, we have so many creative options now to connect. You know, if this had happened, 25 years ago, yes, it would be really difficult to communicate and connect. Now we can have so many platforms in which we can see each other. We can get on as well with other people, much like this call, and collaborate and coordinate. But this is also one of those times when I was in university. I would sometimes I'd write Diane a letter.
You'd write me poetry.
And
letters.
Yes. But I write letters over 5 days, right? So I'd send one day, and then the other one the next day, and then the next day. So it would go 5 straight days. And so she wouldn't know the end of the letter until day 5. And so there are so many wonderful creative things that we can do to try to engage as well. It's not, the way we would want it or the way we would have it. But believe me, the frontline workers don't want to be in the position that they are in. Those who are on ventilators don't want to be in that situation. Those who are, burying loved ones and not being able to have a service because of the situation. Everybody's inconvenience, and so this is one time where we can find that common ground. We can really work hard to show a person how important to us by being creative. And the other side of that is, sometimes it tells us the other part of the relationship that maybe this isn't as strong as we thought.
All right. Jen, do you have any other questions for us?
I think we lost Jen.
Okay, well, let's read comments. Let's see. Aunt Kathy says hi.
Yeah, all right. Hi, Kathy. Good.
Oh, Jada.
I do.
Jada.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Jada.
Yes, Jada Deborah.
David. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
We're
Wow.
still family members. Sorry, guys.
All right,
We're
all
getting
right.
distracted.
So I know we do have some more questions Jen was on. Did you want to see if, just kind of check to see if we are? And in saying this, it's just really important to know and understand this discussion, right? It's a starting point. It is not the answer to your situations necessarily. It is a starting point to begin to have conversation and to make time for that conversation, to schedule that conversation so that we can create the right culture, the right atmosphere to have those conversations.
I'm laughing because someone just commented and said, "You folks talk so it's never leaving us. What do you mean? I mean, we're from the South. Hello."
Yes. All right. All right. Let's
Okay.
have it.
Yeah, let's
All right. Well, if you do have a question, and what we'd like you to do is to send it on in to us here on the platform, and we will get back to you with answers. Will be the next time we're on. I think Thursday. Marcy will be here.
yes, we'll be here on Thursday.
Yes, and maybe we'll conclude that with answers to some questions that have come in that we missed here.
There's a great question from Jane in our office.
Yes.
And Jane says, how has your marriage changed as your girls have graduated and moved closer towards adulthood? Oh, that's so good.
Yes.
Actually, we were just talking about that.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead,
Yes.
Michael.
Yes. So you read it, so I have to answer, huh? All right. So one of the real critical ways our relationship has changed is in how we actually take care of our kids or support our kids. And so we actually had a conversation about this just the other day, because the way they need to support be supported has changed from when they were kids, right?
Yeah.
And this is something that we had not talked about. We had not communicated about directly with them. There's a wonderful charity that has this slogan: "Don't talk about us," right? It's important at some point, right? As your kids get older, to include them in conversations.
Right.
And so we really hadn't had that conversation of how do we support you differently now that you are young adults rather than children. And just trying to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Are there things that you hope that we could be doing, different ways that we can be supporting you, or are there times where we just need to disappear where we're being too involved still, too engaged. And
Like me. I'm
yes.
guilty. I know I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
So having that conversation is extremely important. And so for us, we have found ourselves with more time to engage with one another. We haven't really taken advantage of that so much because our life is still so much about our kids, and we might not be doing anything for them sitting at home, and we can actually go and watch a movie, right? or go out to dinner, and we haven't done those things because we our youngest is still in the house, and they're all in the house, I should say. But our youngest is still in high school, her final year, and she's graduating this year. And so we still have that sense that we need to be there and grounded the majority of the time. But it has given us a little bit more freedom. We have exercised some of that freedom as we've gotten older. We have traveled for generally a few days at a time. 2-3 days at a time, and with them in the house by themselves, and so
I think
so some
it's
of those
safe to
things.
say that they still like us. Like they still like hanging around us. So we still kind of hang around.
I that's relatively safe to say. I would say is it's safe to say they like you. Yes, yes, yes. So dads are pretty,
They still like us. They still like hanging out with us. So
Okay.
it's good.
Yeah,
It's
so
good.
that dads ask the wrong questions at this age, and so
Mom does too.
yeah.
But,
So
but let's go to some questions.
Yes.
Kathleen Reed says, when are you going to politics?
I'm running away from it. No, I really would love to be in some level of perfect public service at some point. I love um, uh, it means to be a Torontonian, Ontarian, Canadian. To my American friends, shout out is no diss to you. It is actually a huge thumbs up. Someone once compared it to it's like um, your mom and your wife, right? The two people you love the most in your life. One gave you birth, the other you live with. And so that's kind of what it's like to our friends down south. We just love it so much here, and they've been so good to us. And so I have considered it. We really concentrated on trying to move the foundation forward, and once you get into politics, you can no longer really support your foundation in that way. So maybe still one day it's going to happen. With the foundation is in such capable hands now, and we probably should. It'd be a good time to send Jim, Queen Bee, Lady Jane, and Colin a big shout out now. Steve Meehan is our he is the chairman of our foundation, and Selin is a good chance he might be on. He's our vice chairman. Mike Heatherman was on before, and we've just got a great, really strong group. And so if we're at a point where we can transition, that time might be now. But I actually just got a new job, so I've got to get that out for a little bit first and stay committed
so
to
no
that.
politics right now.
Not
No
just
politics.
yet. Not just yet. So
Let's read some more comments. Oh, my cousin Renata in Alabama.
oh
my gosh.
my
Tell everybody else
cousin.
hi. Let's see who else is on. Oh, we come from Oshawa. Hey, Jennifer in Oshawa. Thanks for checking us out today.
Yes.
Let's see. Hey, Mike and Diane. It's been a while. Let's see. There's a lot of comments. I'm trying to scroll through people. Give me a minute.
Yes. Again, if you have questions that weren't answered, we are going to take a look through, and we will answer some of those at the end of Thursday. we're so happy to have Marcy in with us on Thursday.
Yes, Marcy is a good friend and a business partner, and
Yes.
it's going to be fantastic
All
Thursday.
right.
So if you're not doing anything on Thursday, you want to. Marcy, she's one of the hosts of the #1 talk show in Canada, The Social.
Yes.
And I'm sure she's going to have lots of good stuff to
Yes.
share with everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Well, I think we're going to wrap this up.
Yes, warm thoughts. Soup for everybody. That goes down warm. Soup for everybody this evening. Hope all that you had a good time with us. We want to keep getting better at this and learn to interact with you more intimately and how to maybe ask your questions a little bit more directly. And so we will continue to work at that. But we thank you for your patience in that construct as we try to continue to
we're learning.
Inform.
Like, this is new for us.
Yes,
we're learning.
Yes. And we are not the most technically sophisticated people on the planet. Yes. So thank you so much for joining us on The New Normal, and hope your relationships are better than normal.
Yeah, we really do. And we hope that you, in trying, maybe this week, you'll maybe try some of the things that we suggested or some of the things that we've been doing. And just remember, in everything, just love each other.
Yes.
That's the #1 thing.
Yes.
Love conquers all. So through it all, if you just learn to just love each other, you'll get through it. And during this time of crisis, when we're in this time of uncertainty, where there's so much going on with the COVID-19 and just so much unrest, if I could say that, just remember to check on your neighbors, check on the elderly, just do what you can to help out and make a difference. There's Walter. What is this? What is the one that I love to quote? What is it? Walter? I can't remember his last name, but his first name is Walter. But he has a saying that goes, "I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And what I can do, I ought to do. What I ought to do by the grace of God." And so today I want to challenge you. And you're one, but we all can make a difference. We all can do something to help ease the load of our frontline workers. Whatever that may be. If it's just staying home, then stay home. Get grocery then get grocery for the neighbor. Whatever it is, we all can do something to help lighten the load.
To all of our donors, family, friends, all of you, we love you. We thank you for joining us, and give Martin Luther King the last word. He said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. Woo!
Until next time, guys, we hope that you figure out how to stay in your sweet spot. Take care, everybody.
See you Thursday on The New Normal.
Thursday at 6 p.m. New Normal.